Disclaimer: the following video is intended for adult collectors only. As such, it will contain coarse language, suggestive humor, and mature themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ah, yes. A new world to conquer. And now, to choose my alt mode. Well, what alt mode should I go with? The gun, the tank, gun, tank, gun, T-Rex, yes, tank, gun, tank, T-Rex, dragon, yes. I just can't decide.
Hey, the tree's back. The tree's back. The tree is back. But anyway, this figure has been long on my list for a very hot minute. Since the leaked listing came out, I have been waiting for this Megatron. I held off on getting the Siege mold because I was like, maybe, just maybe it'll be a new mold. It'll be a better mold. It'll be an even more immaculate experience to get the G1 design into plastic from the 86 version as opposed to the Siege version. And I definitely was right. It is stunning. Oh, this is the best looking figure I think I've handled yet. Like, I cannot get over it. Just outside of live action, I am straight up floored by the majesty this guy's got. Every single position you can get this guy into is super solid, super fun, and he articulates excellently. I feel no need to fix this or any other part of the figure. The articulation is that fluid, it's solid, everything moves exactly how it's supposed to. I mean, the arms can be a little bit tricky with the way that the butterfly hinges are, but you know, once you get used to it, it is really not that hard to really accentuate just how much of a forward motion he's got. He can get some really devious poses on him. Like, combine this figure with a bunch of smooth articulation, excellent points of posing, and immaculate detail. This is definitively the Megatron figure for me and many other collectors in the Chug scale or unification era or whatever the hell we're calling it. I don't fucking care. Like, seriously, this guy has just got some absolute presence. The genuine, like, I can't even, I'm lost for how to describe this figure because it is genuinely as close to a masterpiece outside an actual masterpiece that I've handled yet. It is that good. But I do have some problems. For instance, the actual head sculpt of Megatron here is a little bit bigger than I'd prefer. It's not that bad, but you can definitely see that it's not the best it could be. He's got too much chin, too much bucket. Honestly, I feel like if they'd have just slimmed down the bucket, the face sculpt itself wouldn't have bothered me. And, you know, would have been a lot easier if this was just a little bit more short and squatting down, you know, just a little, just shrink it, just a smidge in the bucket helmet part of the department. The face I don't necessarily mind. I do think that the black stripe gives him an odd, like, shadow over his eyes, but I kind of fuck with it. It's kind of low-key mysterious. Another thing that I'm not too fond of in this instance is actually the fusion cannon. It is a very stubby cannon. Like, the actual barrel just doesn't reach but to about his knee, when in all reality the barrel should go to about mid-calf. If it went down mid-calf, I would say that it was a superior barrel, but as it is, it's just a little bit too stumpy, and it really doesn't help that the backblast area is just so f***ing huge. Like, I get it, it is meant to mimic a gun scope, and it definitely does look like one, but I feel like we could have gotten a little bit better here. And no, not from the new Skybound Optimus. That thing looks f***ing silly too. And I'm not paying $80 for our damn fusion. And another thing that I'm sure you've all seen and heard is the leg paint. I definitely don't appreciate it, especially because from the front you get that weird blue-gray gross shade that changes depending on the light you're on, but then you have the plastic here. Like, yeah, the kibble is sort of accurate to how he appeared on the show, but also there's multiple different iterations of the design where this color is just, you know, it's like the crotch piece here, you know? It's this like black gunmetal gray color, and then to not have it on the legs here really just distracts from the overall aesthetic, especially because it's on the inside, outside, except for the back and front here. It's a very mismatched feeling that ultimately just leaves you a little bit weird. And yeah, there is some pretty obvious blocks of tank mode kibble on the back. The treads do kind of look cool as the calf plates. I do appreciate that. Another thing that I'm not too big of a fan of in terms of the sculpt would be the actual openness of the back plate, which the model has something similar to that going on, but that's also why I low-key like that you can do this with the back skirt, and then you still get your articulation for poses and whatnot. Doesn't look too bland, but of course I've kind of gotten over it with how good the rest of the figure is, so I don't really use that too much. It's not really something that I need to concern myself with. Another thing I'm not too fond of with the sculpt work is actually the arms here. The arms definitely are something that you've heard someone talk about. They are way bulkier at the forearm as opposed to the bicep. If this was just a little bit bigger, I wouldn't necessarily mind. Or hell, if this was just like a little bit less thick, I wouldn't mind either, you know? It doesn't need to have that much panelage at the forearm. It's kind of annoying. It is what it is, but like, we've seen better done, so like this is kind of a step in the wrong direction. Not nearly a deal breaker, but just a little gripe of mine. Also forgot to mention this. This right here, I'm not really a fan of this. I don't like how it shifts from accuracy in one part of the line to this. Like, I can understand why they would think it looked a bit bland, but the silver here is very off-putting in certain shots. Like, you catch the lighting, like, from this angle, you can hardly tell it's there. That angle, it's very there, it's very in your face, it's very annoying. From, like, darker angles, it kind of blurs the rest of the Decepticon symbol, too. It doesn't fit as good as it should, you know? It doesn't look quite as much accurate as I would expect, you know, coming from the guy that says G1 accuracy doesn't exist, which it doesn't. You might be able to follow a model to a T, but looking at the actual animation, it's a miracle that they were able to make some of the shit shake that they did. But other than a wonky ass head sculpt and some oddly placed kibble, what do I really have to say about this package that's negative? Nothing. Honestly, this is definitely one of the best Megatron figures we've gotten in recent memory. Like, I just can't think of any other figure that gets this cleaned up. Like, there's barely any kibble on him. Front, side, center. Like, yeah, there's some hinges and panel lines, but ultimately, this thing still looks f***ing incredible. It's just so charismatic. It's got such a dynamic presence. Everything about this figure feels premium. And real quick, we're going to run through the articulation now that I have remembered to include an articulation segment. The hands are very nice. We've got a trigger finger and other 3-finger split. Very, very nice to see on mainline figures. You don't see it too often, but when you do, it's always a nice treat. Swivel at the wrist, We have a 90-degree bend at the elbow. Kind of a shame that it's not double jointed like some Voyager classes these days. I kind of see why because of the tank mode, but whatever. Full 360 at the shoulder, unimpeded. It's got butterfly joints, so it can go in, it can go back a little bit. Not as much as you'd probably want it to, but you know, it's not a Spider-Man figure here. Not exactly looking to make him swing from a web or anything. So, coming to the back, we've got the back articulation, which can go full out and forward, and you can, of course, raise the arms up, lift up the skirts, and we get a good gymnast style split. So we can pull off the cheerleader and gymnast split. Very clean, very clean. Head articulation. Little bit of a difficulty getting the 360 rotation. It's on a ball joint, so it can look down, can look up, can kind of look side to side. Not too much, not too little. And we have a fully unimpeded waist, not wrist, not wraith or raced, fucking waist rotation. We have a full waist swivel, unimpeded, very nice, very good, as well as having a bend at the knee, which goes just a hint past 90, not all the way, but you know, good enough. And then we have some forward at the foot, mostly forward transformation, and then no back movement, unfortunately. We have some deep ankle pivot, so he really can get a hell of a lot of poses off. And turning away from Megatron for a second, we're going to take a look at some of the accessories. I don't count the back barrel or fusion cannon because those are kind of quintessential to Megatron's silhouette and character as a whole. Dog features yet again. But this is a pretty standard accessory here. It's just a normal ass non-distinct laser sword. So it's got the peg, you can smack it into his back very easily. There is that hole, you can just pop it right there. Very snug, very tight. Passes the shake test, ain't going nowhere unless you pull it straight up out. You can also take it apart. I didn't know this at first. I actually was confused for a little while and thought that this was just a solid piece. It is not. Don't really know why I thought that, honestly. But you can put it into other figures' hands if it'll fit. This hilt is a very thick, so like not every figure is going to be able to hold this. I would try on figures with opening fingers, that way you can kind of just pop it in and pop it out, you know, and keep it a little bit easier on you. It's not the most secure thing in the world when you have it trying to force its way through a fucking deluxe, you know. Like, we'll try just with the size comparison here, a Bumblebee, like, that's not going in, you know, that's not gonna fucking fit. It's actually because of that little notch right there that I'm probably gonna have to sand down a little to get the thickness to allow for Bumblebee and other figures to hold it. But ultimately, it's probably just gonna stay in Megatron's hand anyway, or like Tarn or somebody, so who cares? Lightsaber. And for the last accessory you get himself?
God, I need to stop drinking Starscream's margaritas. Lord Megatron?
Oh, yes.
Lord Megatron, are you fucking playing with yourself?
I can't help it, Shockwave. Guns are fun.
Forget it. I'm going to drink another margarita.
It's a good accessory. I don't really mind it. It's a way to circumvent the whole gun mode Megatron thing, you know, because like if you had an actual toy of Megatron, you wouldn't exactly be able to replicate any photos of that gun mode, you know. It'd be a giant gun in your figure's arms, you know. So it's not really the same thing. This is a very well done compromise. I do think that it could do a little bit more from a sort of realistic sculpt, but you know, a non-generic gun thing, gun laws, blah blah. You fucking get it. And first up, here we are with some fellow 86 members, the deluxe classes for Jazz and Bumblebee. Megatron and his 3 Voyager class Decepticons, with Starscream holding his commander as a little homage to multiple different continuities. My preferred Optimus and Megatron duo in the Earthrise and 86. Definitely like my Megatron to have a little bit of a size difference on Prime. Gives him a bit more of an imposing feeling. Just overall hits the mark a little bit better. Also, they looking a little familiar. I wonder where this pose is from, huh? You know, looking a little bit cha-la, you know what I'm saying? And our leader class comparison with Age of the Prime's Megatronus. Definitely got a little bit of a size difference between the two. Megatronus is definitely got the edge on him in just a couple of centimeters, maybe 1 or 2, but, you know, not that bad. Ultimately, the engineering is still gonna go to Megatron as opposed to Megatronus, but it felt kind of fucking right to have him here, you know? So, just to, you know, Cannon gang. And now, the transformation. And hoo-wee, after all of that nonsense, we get to the tank mode. Oh, very nice. Arguably, one of my preferred tank modes for Megatron that I've seen yet. It may not be as solid as the Armada version or this or that, but honestly, when you compare it to what we had before, i.e. the Siege version, War for Cybertron in general, just, this is a slam dunk. Looking at this tank, there is so much different bits of detailing, from the rivets in the metal to the gas areas, the little door bits, things like that, fucking the vents and backlights on the back being fully sculpted in. Even if they're not painted, they are there and they're very prominent. And while the top half definitely suffers being a pretty decently obvious pair of robot arms, I still don't think it's as terrible as some people say. It looks pretty solid in my opinion. Certain people think that it's not that good, and they're allowed to think that. I'm not gonna try and harsh their opinion or nothing. You might be wrong, but I don't need to come into your house and tell you how to rearrange your furniture as my figure is mistransformed. Oh god. I'm professional. I swear I'm professional. But yeah, no, the tank mode definitely is one of the better things about this mode. And while I do think that the barrel is solid, I just think that the fusion cannon should have been a little bit longer, and the back barrel could have incorporated in another way, like maybe a little flamethrower or a booster or some other imaginative little bullshit. I don't know. This is kind of weird. It just doesn't sit completely right on my tongue. Like it does the job, but that tip is just a little bit too skinny. And if we're going to be talking about other things that aggravate me, this hollow space here is a little aggravating. There's not even a tray for me to put my weed in there. What the fuck? And the articulation is, it roll good. It has a full 360 rotation at the back, or at the turret. Barrel can do that. You can do this. You can do that. Doesn't look good. Looks stupid and funny, but it can do it. There's not really much to say. It's a brick. It's just a solid, mostly solid brick. Talking about the transformation in and of itself, the transformation is a very MP similar process. There's a lot of steps, a lot of complication, and interesting twists and turns throughout it, with some beautiful sculpted in detail being added in between everything. Like, opening up this panel specifically, you can see that there's a vent detail put in there. And on the inside, there's something. I don't know what it is, but it's there. There's bunches of different greeblings put into this sculpt that makes this a real visual treat whenever you're getting it from robot to tank. Not to mention that the robot mode greebling just looks really solid. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but with how both modes clean up extraordinarily well, I can confidently say that this is probably going to be the definitive Megatron figure, especially for G1 styles, for years to come. And now for our size comparison, we have 86 Bumblebee and 86 Jazz on either side. And our Voyager comparison with Tarn and Shockwave. And finally, the Leader Class comparisons with our Leader Class Earthrise Prime and Age of the Primes Megatronus. Gotta tell you, with each of these, I want to give a couple of different highlights here. I do really appreciate just how well done this tank mode is in comparison to Megatronus. Megatronus is not a bad tank mode, and certainly from the aesthetic standpoint, I prefer how Megatronus looks as opposed to Megatron proper. But Megatron, in terms of intricacy, transformation, and solidity of parts, just really gets the whole feeling a lot more concise than Megatronus. Megatron definitely has a lot more going for him in terms of stability. And highlighting someone else, the Earthrise Optimus and Megatron, 86 Megatron, really do pair well together, even though I have him mistransformed. There we go. Even though that they are from two separate lines, I definitely really appreciate just how good these guys can look from any subline. The G1 designs going head to head like this just feels good. It feels iconic, natural, classic. Gotta love it. So overall, what are my thoughts on 86 Megatron? I will say that despite the flaws that he has with the aforementioned deco, wonky proportions and this and that. He ultimately is a very solid figure, arguably one of the best, if not the best, in mainline that we've gotten in recent years. I will say that he does just feel far more premium than the traditional Chug figures do. Like, genuinely, the sculpt work, the greebling, everything here is Hasbro on their A-game. But it kind of is a double-edged sword, because as the time of this video has progressed, the announcement for this sort of engineering, at least in terms of greebling, has been made that it's going to go more to flat plastic, as we see with the 86 Thundercracker, which, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not necessarily gonna miss it too bad, but this is certainly something that I feel doesn't make the figures feel as premium as they could be. The greebling gave so much more with the feeling of substantial plastic in your hand. Like, this feels like a well-made, well-designed figure all over. There's detailing that you will only see during the transformation. There's detailing that's only seen in the tank mode, robot mode. There is so much sculpt work that is put into this figure that is genuinely just mind-bogglingly good. It feels premium. It feels very close to the Masterpiece line as we can get in Chug, but ultimately it does come with the cost of being the last cry of that engineering sort of standpoint. This is a somber representation of kind of the point we're getting into now with Transformers. This is the last figure that a lot of people are probably going to get at traditional leader class price, which is kind of sad. There's plenty of others you can still purchase for current leader class prices on, like, Big Bad Toy Store with Age of the Primes. They've got pretty much everything. But this leader just shows that even though it is a leader class, it can be as close to a masterpiece as possible, with just a little bit of love, a little bit of care from the engineers and designers. So that's going to be doing it from me today. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Again, I want to give a shout out to the subscribers real fast. If you want to catch more content, just go ahead and click the button, do the bell, hit the like, yada yada. Leave a comment. Tell me about your experience with this figure or other G1 style Megatrons. Is this better? Is it worse? Is this thing complete and utter dog shit because of the bullshit compromises that Hasbro's made? I don't know. You tell me. But as always, I have been your lovely host, Shirker. You can catch me on YouTube here. You can catch me on Twitter. I do art discussions, la-di-da. I'm also going to be doing a little bit of voice work, and hopefully I can put an announcement out about that soon. You'll just have to wait. See? Okay, bye!